This page is the front cover of the Nintendo official magazine, confidently declaring itself as always first, biggest and the best for N64. Slap bang in the middle is a massive feature on Monaco GP, billing it as a huge review of Ace new Formula 1 racer. Looks like they're pretty excited about that one. There's also a first big review for Castlevania, complete with a suitably grim-looking skull, a bit dark for a Nintendo mag if you ask me. Down the sides, they're teasing bits on Shadow Man, Rogue Squadron, all the usual suspects for the N64 at the time. They're also promising best tips for N64 games and listing a bunch. WCW/N, WO Revenge, Turok 2, Rally 99, South Park, and of course no Nintendo mag would be complete without a nod to Legend of Zelda, this time promising to help you bust tough stuff. All this for the princely sum of £2.95, labelled as great value. Well, magazines were a bit cheaper back then, weren't they? Standard cover from back in the day, hitting all the expected N64 titles. This page is a full-on advert for Micro Machines 64 Turbo, right in your face with manic mayhem and full-on fun. Subtle, eh? Apparently, 8 players can cram around the telly for this one, which sounds like absolute carnage. They're banging on about racing around the house again, breakfast tables and snooker rooms, you know the drill with Micro Machines. And of course they've chucked in weapons and stuff. Because why not? 8 players on one screen though, that's certainly ambitious for the N64. Could be a laugh if you've got that many mates daft enough to join in. Right then, next page. This UK Nintendo 64 magazine touts itself as the best. They promise to deliver news first, include plentiful screenshots, be easy to read, provide tips and cheats, and employ trustworthy writers. The magazine's team is introduced with photos and contact information, including a dedicated line for Nintendo-related problems and inquiries about magazine availability. A sneak peek at the upcoming issue reveals features on Monaco GP, Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, and Castlevania 64, showcasing popular titles of the era. This page is the front cover, it seems. Right then, smack bang in the middle we've got Monaco Grand Prix, labelled as a racing simulation. If one racer screams in, it boldly proclaims. They're promising an official review, all you need to know, and teasing things like tricky tracks, wheels tested, season sorted, and Monaco being torn apart. Sounds like they're quite impressed with it. You can go to page 6 for more apparently. Down in the corner there's a bit on Castlevania, asking, wanna see something really scary? First spine-chilling review, is the tagline. Looks like a screenshot of a skeleton chap, and some bloke fighting him. Classic Castlevania, innit? Page 22 if you're brave enough. Then on the right we've got game news, new games, first and best it says. There's a load of titles for both Game Boy Color and N64. For Game Boy Color, they're shouting about All-Star Baseball 2000, Armorines, Duke Nukem GB, and Harvest Moon. And for the N64, they're listing a bunch including Duist, Klax, Lego Racers, Logical Mystical Ninja 2 starring Goemon, NBA in the Zone 99, and NHL Blades of Steel. They've also rattled off Genki Daichu, Pokemon, Pokemon Pinball, Pokemon Snap, Quake 2, Rugrats, Scavenger Hunt, Spy vs Spy, Tasmanian Express, and Shadow Man. Blimey, quite the list. Looks like page 80 has more on this lot, so there you go, a snapshot of what's hot in Nintendo land back then. This page features a variety of content, including game reviews, competitions, game guides, and reader participation sections. The reviews highlight several N64 games, such as Beetle Adventure Racing, Monaco Grand Prix, Virtual Pool, Castlevania, and Chameleon Twist 2. A Blagfest competition offers Nintendo-related prizes. Game guides cover titles like Turok 2 and The Legend of Zelda. Other sections include official tips, your tips with a chance to win prizes, your scores for the Mega Challenge, and Club Mario for reader submissions. Overall, it's a typical Nintendo magazine spread with a good mix of content. This N64 game review page, styled like a late 90s magazine, focuses on new UK releases. The reviews are accompanied by numerous pictures and a scoring system from real rubbish to awesome game you must play. The main review is for Monaco Grand Prix, a Formula 1 racing simulation. Other reviewed games include Virtual Pool 64, Castlevania, Chameleon Twist 2, and Beetle Adventure Racing. The magazine also awards a Nintendo Awesome Award to games scoring over 90%, signifying the best titles. The overall tone is typical of gaming magazines of the era, aiming to inform readers on which games are worth buying. This page we're having a peek at Monaco Grand Prix for the N64. 45 quid they were asking for it back then, released mid-May. Right at the top they are saying it's one of the most realistic F1 simulators ever. All the thrills of an actual race. Big words, eh? Looking at the screenshot, it's a yellow car, doing its thing. Game info box there tells you it's multiplayer, needs a memory pack, and works with the Rumble pack, the usual N64 bits and bobs. Just a straightforward review page, dedicating the whole thing to this far-one game. The review of Monaco Grand Prix highlights the game's features. It emphasizes the ultimate Grand Prix excitement across 16 tracks worldwide. Game modes include single race, championship with dramatic highs and lows, duel mode, and time attack. Players can choose from 11 teams, each with made-up drivers boasting stats like speed and aggression, though customizable with a memory pack. The controls are straightforward, accessible for all players, with options for manual gear shifting for a more authentic racing experience. Standard N64 racing controls, like A for acceleration and B for braking, are present, making it a decent overview of the game. This mail-order advertisement showcases a selection of Nintendo products from the past, focusing primarily on the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color. The N64 deals include bundles with popular games like Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, and GoldenEye. Accessories like a steering wheel controller are also available. Game Boy Colors are advertised for £60. A variety of N64 games, including classics like Killer Instinct Gold and Wave Race, are listed, along with accessories. Game Boy Color games, like Tetris DX and Pokémon Yellow, are also available. Leaky. The ad features special deals, such as FIFA 99, Beetle Adventure Racing, Micro Machines Turbo, and South Park, all bundled with a free memory card. The ordering process involved traditional methods, like check or postal order, reflecting the era's purchasing practices. This page is a full advert for Star Wars: Rogue Squadron on the Nintendo 64. It's got a massive kargswing right in the foreground, classic pose, blasting away at some TIE fighters which are going up in flames. Rely on your instinct is the tagline, which to be fair you probably did need to do in that game. It could get pretty hectic. Of course, it's all for the N64, and they're making sure you know it uses the expansion pack. Remember that little add-on? LucasArts are behind it, so you know it's got the official Star Wars stamp. Just a straight-up advert, really. After all that mail-order stuff for the N64 on the previous page, makes sense to advertise a game for it. The next page covers Monaco Grand Prix on the N64. Right then, all kinds of weather. They're banging on about how the weather changes, sunny, cloudy, rain affecting the race, tyre changes and all that. Standard racing game stuff, but they are making a point of it. Below that, it's Dream Machine, going on about tinkering with your car in the garage, gearbox, fuel, body height, suspension, steering, tires, brakes, wings, the works. They reckon you can change top speed, grip, acceleration and braking, so a bit more depth than just holding accelerate. Look section says it's visually impressive, loads of track and car detail, and suggests playing from the behind-the-wheel view for a good driving experience. Finally, choose the rules, talking about customizing the game before a season, race length, damage levels, number of races up to 21, all adjustable. They've even got little captions under the screenshots, like, your mechanic has had a good look under the bonnet, and, if the course has got loads of bends, use loose suspension. Sounds like they're trying to make it out to be a proper driving sim rather than just an arcade racer. Not bad, looks like they've put a bit of effort into this one. This page is continuing the Monaco Grand Prix review. A spotter practice section is talking about the free practice mode, saying it's good for learning the tracks before you get into qualifying and races. Standard stuff for racing games back then, but useful if you were new to it. Then there's taking damage, which is explaining how the damage works. Apparently, there's a little damage meter that changes color. White is all good, yellow means you've had a bump, and red is trouble. They reckon you need to get it fixed quick, if it goes red. Sound section is brief, just mentions the engine sounds and pit crew chat, and a bit of a moan that Murray Walker isn't the commentator. Shame really, everyone loved a bit of Murray. The big picture at the bottom is showing off the graphics, focusing on the car details and track. Looks alright for an N64 racer. Maybe a bit blocky compared to what we're used to now, but back then it was pretty decent. They're making a point about the rumble strips, and how realistic it is. Marketing hype, but it probably felt pretty good at the time. Overall, it's highlighting the practice mode, damage system, and sounds, and trying to sell the game's realism. Sounds like they think it's a decent racer, building on what they said on the last page about weather and customization. This Monaco Grand Prix review provides a detailed guide to the track, essential for any racing game. The track map, numbered 1 to 9, Highlight specific sections. Advice includes accelerating at the start, 1. Using fifth gear on the hill, 2. Navigating tricky bends in town, 3. Easing through the harbour, 4. Staying centered in the tunnel, 5. Tackling the difficult hairpin, 6. Mastering the seaside chicanes, 7. Navigating narrow streets, 8. And avoiding early turns at the final bend, 9. A Learn the Course section uses tire marks to demonstrate ideal racing lines for newcomers, acting as a driving instructor to help players improve their lap times. This page continues the Monaco Grand Prix review, cracking on with some essential race day info. First up, it's watch the flags. And fair enough, you do need to know your flags in a racing game. It runs through the basics. Yellow flag for accidents ahead, slow down. Green when it's clear. Black and white for being a bit of a naughty driver. Black flag means you're done, son, straight to the pits. And lastly, the checkered flag, which they hilariously explain, is when first place has already been taken. Cheers for that insight, lads. Then there's in the pits, covering what to do when your car's knackered. Shows some screenshots of pulling into the pit lane, getting your tires changed and fuel topped up. Spin into the pits and get it repaired by your trusty crew. Bit dramatic, but gets the point across. Finally, Slamtastic Smashes is all about getting a bit leery on the track. It's basically saying Monaco is tight and twisty, perfect for causing chaos by hitting other drivers. Mentions Silverstone and German straights as other good spots for crashes. You can really hit top end on the German straights. Well, duh. It's all good fun, reminding us about the joys of a bit of digital carnage back in the day, when smashing into opponents was half the entertainment. This page is a bit of a gear change, moving away from the Monaco Grand Prix review and slamming right into a full-page advert for Sunny Delight. Remember that bright orange stuff? Yeah, you couldn't move for it back in the 90s. It's got folks on bikes, looking all active and that, with the slogan whenever, wherever, reach for the sun. They were really pushing that healthy, outdoorsy vibe, weren't they? Quite a contrast to talking about crashing virtual cars, but hey, gotta sell the sugary drink somehow. This review of the Monaco Grand Prix game provides a tour of its included tracks, mirroring the 1999 F1 season. It highlights key features of each track, starting with Australia's Albert Park and progressing through Brazil, Argentina, though noting its eventual replacement by the Malaysian GP, Spain, Monaco, France, Canada, and Great Britain. Each entry mentions a race date and the notable element of the track, such as a challenging bend or a prime overtaking spot. The review uses a global map analogy to describe the game's track selection, and ends with a call to choose your course, highlighting the game's immersive approach to the sport. This page continues the Monaco Grand Prix review, charting a course across Europe and Asia, if you will. We're still touring these circuits in the game, picking up where we left off in Europe. First off, Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps, noted for that Longs Bend nestled in the crowds, race date 29th of August. Then it's Germany at Hockenheim. Apparently the best bit is just flooring it on the third straight, heart-pounding stuff. They reckon race date 1st of August. Luxembourg at Nürburgring is next, getting a cool line into the last right is the highlight there, race date the 26th of September. Hungary at Hungering, where you need to leave them standing and give it some juice out of the last corner, race date the 15th of August. San Marino at Imola is all about bombing down the Forest Straight, race date 2nd of May. Austria at a one ring is next. Spinning round the first bend at over 100 miles per hour is apparently the best bit, race date the 25th of July. Italy at Monza, whizzing through the double chicane without damage, race date the 12th of September. Finally for this spread, Japan at Suzuka, with that sharp turn under the bridge being the standout feature, race date the 31st of October. They're really going through the F1 calendar for 99 here, aren't they? It's a decent spread, showing the variety of circuits you get to grips with in Monaco Grand Prix. This review of Monaco Grand Prix on the N64 covers beginner tips like using the racing line and power downs. The two-player mode, with split-screen gameplay, is noted for potential chaos. A major downside is the absence of a full-season mode in multiplayer. The review also delves into steering wheels, comparing 4 models. The G64 steering wheel offers rumble and good grip, while the Race 64 Compact provides quick response times. The Formula Race Pro is praised for its responsiveness but comes with a high price tag. Conversely, the VRF1 accelerator is heavily criticized. Missed. The review concludes with a discussion on whether Monaco GP surpasses F1 World Grand Prix, inviting reader input. The game receives an 86% score, deemed a strong showing, though the lack of an official license puts it slightly behind F1 World Grand Prix in the reviewer's estimation. This advertisement promotes a cheat line for video games on N64, PlayStation, and PC. Targeting frustrated gamers, it offered help with tough levels, lives, and level skipping via a premium rate phone number 0906 698 016, costing 60 pence per minute. The ad features Cheat Master holding an N64 controller and lists numerous games, predominantly N64 titles like Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, and Super Mario 64. A fax service was also available, offering cheat sheets for an additional premium charge. The service aimed to provide instant game assistance before the widespread availability of the Internet. Virtual Pool 64, released on the N64, is reviewed as a decent pool game. It offered features like multiplayer, memory pack support for high scores, and rumble pack functionality. The game aimed for realism, though the reviewer notes the low standards of the time. It features various match types, including challenging computer opponents and trick shot learning. The review highlights different rule sets, including 8-ball, American and British rules, and a professional shooter mode. Game modes like 9-ball, 1-pocket, and rotation are also detailed. Jarkanidot graphics are considered basic, reflecting the limitations of the N64. Despite this, the review concludes that Virtual Pool 64 is a solid option for pool enthusiasts on the platform. Essexa. This review of Virtual Pool 64 on the N64 covers the basics of gameplay, including aiming, power and spin control, highlighting the game's attempt at realism. It explores features like trick shot, which, rather than a dedicated mode, allows for impressive shots through skillful play. The game also includes a rule check section for explaining basic 8-ball pool rules. The review further details common pool actions and outcomes, such as breaking, potting, misses and fouls. Specific trick shots, like the jump shot and frying pan, are mentioned. The sound, with its realistic effects and barroom music, reflects the N64's limitations. Ultimately, the reviewer awards the game a 70%, praising its ball physics and declaring it the best pool game available on the N64, acknowledging its limitations as only pool. This review covers Castlevania for the N64, a game hyped as a major release. It's a gothic adventure, where players fight Dracula and his minions using a classic whip or magic. The game promises a creepy atmosphere and challenging boss battles, including a difficult garden maze. Players control Reinhard Schneider, a whip-wielding hero, and Carrie Fernandez, a young witch. The visuals aim for a dark, gothic style, though the camera angles are criticized. The review highlights the presence of biker skeletons and warns players about Dracula's biting habit. Overall, the game appears to be a standard Castlevania experience, suitable for those looking for monster-mashing action on the N64. This magazine page provides a beginner's guide to Castlevania on the N64. The controls are outlined, the 3D stick moves the character, B attacks, C uses secondary weapons, A jumps, and Z dodges. The article highlights various weapons found by smashing candles, including the knife, crucifix, holy water, and axe, each with different strengths. It then covers combat, particularly facing skeletons that appear in red boxes. Finally, it explains the red crystals found in the game, which are used to power special weapons, emphasizing resource management. Overall, it offers a straightforward introduction to the game's mechanics. This Castlevania 64 review focuses on the Haunted Mansion level, highlighting its RPG elements and puzzle-solving focus. Players will need to explore the mansion, solve clues, and overcome challenges. The review suggests having a pen and paper for note-taking. The level features key encounters, including Vincent, a seemingly unhelpful character who gives a key, and Rosa, a demon who needs to be listened to carefully. Players will also face a vampire enemy that requires brute force. The review includes a map showcasing the entrance, first floor, stairs, and secret doors. It also marks locations of gem collectibles, encouraging players to explore and discover the mansion's secrets. The second floor of the Castlevania 64 mansion offers classic exploration and monster encounters. The player will find a storeroom with a save point and Renan, a merchant. Expect to battle ghost knights, collect gems, and encounter a hostile villager. The garden area introduces Malus, who needs help, and Frankenstein with his chainsaw-wielding dogs. Players will need to find keys and gems, including the garden key, to progress. This floor promises familiar Castlevania gameplay with its monster bashing and exploration. Whoa! Nintendo Official Magazine's Castlevania 64 review praises its atmospheric sound, creating a classic Castlevania feel. The game features conversations with both helpful and suspicious characters within Dracula's castle, and introduces a time-altering mechanic using sun and moon cards. Players can find items from Renan, a ghost salesman, including health restoratives and vampire cures. While single-player, it offers 2 characters and may keep players occupied. The review highlights tough enemies like exploding skeletons and fire-breathing bloodhounds. The game's score is 86%, with the reviewer citing good visuals and bosses but criticizing the gameplay, particularly the consequence of a single slip. Despite this, the reviewer deems the game well worth a look. The review hints at a sequel, suggesting a planned revisiting of levels. This page is a bit of a departure, isn't it? It's a full-page advert for NatWest Bank, trying to lure in the young'uns with promises of a meaningful relationship with their bank account. Cheeky. They're pushing their Card Plus account, bragging about cash machines, interest, and even chucking in a tenner sports voucher from JJeb Sports. Very 90s, very much aimed at students or someone getting their first bank account. Nothing to do with games on this page though, just pure finance trying to be cool. Chameleon Twist 2, a single-player N64 game released in April 1999, is reviewed as an improvement over its predecessor. The game features Davy and friends in a series of comic capers across 6 worlds. Gameplay involves using Davy's tongue to grab and fire enemies, reminiscent of Yoshi's story. The game offers puzzles, minigames, and challenging bosses. The reviewer notes colorful, though blocky, graphics typical of the N64. Worlds include Skyland, Carnival Land, Iceland, and Great Edo Land, each with unique environments and enemies. Despite mixed praise, the review suggests the game could be enjoyable for fans of bright and cheerful platformers. Chameleon Twist 2 receives a mixed review. The sound is criticized as annoying with weak sound effects, despite the N64's potential. Gameplay involves the chameleon's tongue for movement and attacks, including moves like quick movement, parasol, and pole vault. Minigames, unlocked by collecting carrots, offer a distraction, with 10-pin bowling as an example. Boss battles are plentiful, but not overly difficult, with a highlight being a giant burger fight. The game's length is short, with saves and infinite continues, potentially diminishing the challenge. The absence of multiplayer is noted. Overall, the game scores 67%, described as better than the first but not a top-tier N64 title, best suited for casual players seeking a bright, simple experience. Beetle Adventure Racing for the N64 is reviewed as one of the best N64 races, praised for its fast-paced, chaotic gameplay. The game features VW Beetles racing with power-ups, shortcuts, and destructive elements like smashing through walls and off-ramps. A multiplayer mode allows players to destroy each other's cars. The game boasts colorful visuals and offers various gameplay options. The single-player mode includes race, time trial, and challenge modes against 7 computer opponents. The 2-player mode removes power-ups but retains shortcuts. Despite only having one difficulty setting, the AI is challenging. Released in March 1999, at a price of £44.99, the review suggests it's a fun and unique racer, compared to other popular titles. Beetle Adventure Racing for the N64 is lauded for its impressive visuals and car models, though perhaps a bit overhyped. The game features limited initial content, with only 2 tracks and 3 cars, but unlocks more as you progress. Gameplay includes collecting crates for points and using nitro boosts, typical of arcade races. Controls are described as realistic, requiring strategic use of the handbrake. The sound design is noted for its realism. Multiplayer offers a battle mode for chaotic fun with weapons and ladybug collecting. Overall, the review emphasizes the game's visual appeal, a key selling point for games in 1999. This review focuses on the Coventry Cove track in Beetle Adventure Racing, highlighting its emphasis on exploration and secrets. The review acts as a track guide, breaking down the lap into sections with screenshots and maps. Key areas include the cave, old mine, and various castle sections, each offering bonus points, shortcuts, and nitro boosts. The guide encourages players to find hidden routes and explore the environment. The review emphasizes the game's replayability, suggesting the track is more intricate and challenging than it initially appears. It promotes a gameplay style focused on route optimization and discovery, rather than pure speed, differentiating it from other races. The reviewer clearly appreciates this adventurous approach, which is a departure from the standard racing experience. This review details the Coventry Cove track from Beetle Adventure Racing, providing a section-by-section guide. Key areas include the start line, where controlled acceleration is advised. The town main road is the quickest route, while the town alleyway offers a shortcut via a right turn at a phone box. The train tunnel warns against wall contact, with nitro at the exit. Back street involves smashing a window. In the barn, the guide suggests grabbing a 2-point crate. The midsection advises ignoring arrows and going straight. The water jump requires full speed and crate targeting. The guide also explains the track map's bonus crate and nitro crate symbols. The review emphasizes strategic exploration and bonus collection alongside speed, making the game more engaging than a simple race. Beetle Adventure Racing offers 3 camera views. Behind car near is the best for speed, behind car far loses some excitement, and in car is for experts. The single-player mode is replayable thanks to shortcuts, but could use more tracks. The 4-player mode is a chaotic blast, with ladybug collection, color-changing beetles, and power-ups. Power-ups include rockets, mines, and the devastating Stealer which eliminates opponents. Other power-ups include mystery boxes with random effects, health boosts, poison, and invincibility shields, all contributing to the game's intense racing and power-up mayhem. This magazine page reviews the remaining tracks in Beetle Adventure Racing, highlighting Mount Mayhem's Deceptive Ice, Inferno Isle's Dinosaur Park Chaos, and Sunset Sands' Egyptian setting. Each track features interactive elements, such as a UFO and collapsing pillars. The multiplayer mode is praised for its fun and variety, echoing previous comments on the power-up-fueled, 4-player action. A first tip recommends practicing handbrake turns. The game receives a 91% score, and the Nintendo Awesome badge, with the reviewer calling it a fast-paced, action-packed racer, and one of the best on the N64, especially for multiplayer. This page is all about Vigilante 8, remember that one? Proper car combat game, that was whoa. It's got that big flaming logo splattered across the top, you can't miss it. They're showing off a couple of the cars, one tricked out white motor with bullhorns and a minigun, looks like something out of Mad Max. Then there's a blue one lobbing missiles. 4-player auto combat they're shouting, which was the big selling point back then. Getting your mates around for a rumble was always good fun. Down at the bottom they've got some tiny screenshots of the game, you can just about make out the action going on. Yeah, Vigilante 8, bit of a laugh if you were into blowing up cars with your mates. Not exactly groundbreaking, but it did the job for a bit of multiplayer madness. This page is another look at Vigilante 8 then. Big advert this time, all about the car combat action, you know the drill. Got some motors decked out with guns and flames doing battle. They're still pushing the 4-player auto combat angle, because that's what it was all about really, wasn't it? Bunch of tiny screenshots crammed in the corner, showing off the gameplay, or at least trying to in that size. Yeah, Vigilante 8, they were really trying to get you hyped for this one, weren't they? This page is a big advert for getting yourself a subscription to the Nintendo official magazine Direct. They're really pushing the save money angle, saying you get 12 magazines but only pay for 9. Plus, free delivery, which is a nice touch. Mario's plastered all over it, giving a big thumbs up, or peace sign maybe, whatever Mario does. They're also dangling the carrot of a competition, saying everyone who subscribes gets entered into a draw to win £150 of Nintendo goodies every month from Game Master. Game Master, eh? Remember them? They were all right. Goris, down at the bottom there's a form to fill in, asking for your details, classic stuff, name, address, date of birth, the whole shebang. They've got options for UK delivery, Airmail Europe, and Airmail World, with the prices clearly marked. Payment by check, postal order, or credit/debit card, Access, Visa, MasterCard, the usual suspects. There's a bit at the bottom to cut out and send in, with the address for Nintendo official magazine in Leicester. And of course you got to mention the offer code F1X or F1Z for source code when you order. Got to track these things, don't they? All fairly standard subscription fare really. This magazine section, Total Test, reviewed N64 games and gear, with Yoshi as a guide. Each month brought new content, including game reviews, accessory evaluations, and sales/rental charts. Features included all new gear, Famous 5, and game reviews under N64 Magic, highlighting titles like Turok 2 and Zelda, Ocarina of Time. The scoring system ranged from real rubbish to amazing game you must play, with an awesome award for scores above 90%. The page also teased a new Mario game and a review of Monaco Grand Prix. Overall, the section offered a comprehensive look at the N64 landscape, guiding readers on what was worth their time and money. This magazine page reviews a selection of N64 games. It begins with a brief mention of a Turok 2 minigame. The reviews then run the gamut of scores, with All-Star Baseball 98 earning a high 90% and being hailed as awesome. Conversely, Clay Fighter 63 and a third received a dismal 25%, called the worst N64 fighter. Other notable scores include 88% for Body Harvest, 84% for Buck Bumble, and 96% for the critically acclaimed Banjo-Kazooie. Several fighting and racing games scored poorly. The page also recommends the expansion pack, SCART cable, and controller extension cable as essential accessories for enhancing the N64 experience. This page reviews rumble packs for the N64, comparing various brands and price points. Several games were tested to assess their compatibility and the impact of rumble functionality. Games like Duke Nukem 64, FIFA 99, Forsaken, and F-Zero X received high praise, with scores in the 85 to 92% range, highlighting the positive effect of rumble on gameplay. Titles such as Dual Heroes, F1 Pole Position, and FIFA 64 scored poorly, showing the mixed results. The reviews cover a range of genres, from racing and sports to fighting and platforming, indicating that rumble packs generally enhance the overall gaming experience on the N64. The article reviews several N64 steering wheel peripherals, including the Race 64 Compact, V1 Racing Wheel, Formula Race Pro, V3 Racing Wheel, Top Gear Wheel, VRF1 Accelerator, ASC2 Wheel, LMP Steering Wheel, and Vortex Wheel, with varying features and prices. The review notes mixed quality, with some appearing promising while others seemed clunky. Game reviews included Glover, 85%, Holy Magic Century, 84%, ISS 64 91%, ISS 98 93%, GT 64 Championship 76%, Iggy's Wrecking Balls 83%, Knife Edge Nose Gunner 75%, Knife Edge Nose Gunner 75%, Mace the Dark Age 75%, and Micro Machines 64 Turbo 87%. GoldenEye and the ISS games received high praise, while Hexen 64 was critically panned. This N64 game roundup, despite mentioning Game Boy Color, focuses entirely on N64 titles. High scores are awarded to classics like Lilat Wars, 91%, and Mario Kart 64 90%, highlighting their quality. Other standouts include Mystical Ninja, 88%, and NBA Courtside, 89%. Many sports games are reviewed, including multiple basketball titles that generally score well, while NASCAR 99 received a poor score. Mortal Kombat titles receive particularly harsh criticism, with MK Mythologies scoring a dismal 36%. Other games covered include Mischief Makers, Nagano Winter Olympics, and Mission Impossible, offering a diverse range of genres and scores. The reviews paint a picture of a console with both strong titles and significant misses. This magazine page reviews N64 memory packs and games. Memory packs from various brands, Blaze, Spectra Video, etc., are compared by capacity, 256K, 1 meg, 4 meg, and price, with recommendations for value. Game reviews include NFL Quarterback Club 98 and 99 90%, NHL Breakaway 98 88%, Off-Road Challenge 68%, Olympic Hockey 81%, Penny Racers 64 84%, Quake 88%, Rakuga Kids 79%, Rampage 53%, and Robotron 64 80%. A cryptic review of The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time highlights its greatness, praising its memorable moments and characters. This page is a full-page ad for the Game Boy Color game of the Rugrats movie Blimey, Remember Them Little Terrors? It's pitching itself as an adventure for anyone who's ever worn nappies. Cheeky, that is. It's out on the 5th of March, and it's a Game Boy Color jobby, naturally, being 99 and all that, just after the Game Boy Color came out. They're really going for it, claiming it's the best color Game Boy game yet. Bit strong, isn't it? Official Nintendo magazine reckons so, apparently from the January 99 issue, so a bit premature to be calling it the best, wouldn't you think? Still, the Rugrats were popular back then, weren't they? Everyone was mad for them. There's a screenshot from the game in the corner. Looks like a standard side-scrolling platformer. Nothing too groundbreaking visually, even for the Game Boy Color. You've got Tommy, Chucky, Phil and Lil and Angelica, all in a jungle setting. Typical Rugrats chaos, I suppose. And of course, their faithful Muttspike is there too, tongue hanging out, as usual. For anyone interested in the online stuff, there are website addresses for nickuk.com and rugratsmovie.com at the bottom, How modern, published by THQ, who were knocking out games left, right and center back then. This article reviews various third-party N64 controllers, comparing them to the official Nintendo pad, deemed the best. Several controllers are assessed at different price points, ranging from £14.99 to £39.99. The Stingray 64 has a faulty stick, while the Macapad excels in shoot-'em-ups. The SharkPad Pro 64 is praised for 3D platformers, and the Controller Plus 64 has a poor stick but good buttons. The Trident Pro Pad has too many buttons. The SuperPad 64 is good for left-handed players and fighting games, and the Competition Pro targets professionals. The Manta Ray 64 is considered better than average, and the Mirage is a great pad. The Arcade Shark excels at beat-em-ups, and the Trilogy 64 is a bundled all-in-one option. The Best of the Rest badge highlights the Competition Pro, G64 controller, Arcade Shark and Mirage. The Electronics Boutique sales chart highlights the top 10 N64 games. South Park 64 leads the pack, followed by Rogue Squadron, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, FIFA 99, Mario Party, WCW vs NWO Revenge, Turok 2, Wipeout 64, Mario Kart 64, and Micro Machines 64. Short reviews are included, praising Super Mario 64, 92%, as the ultimate platformer, and 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, 90%, for its racing and trick elements. Top Gear Rally gets 85%, Turok scores 87%, and Twisted Edge receives a 78%. A famous 5 celebrations section features screenshots. Non-readers get a £5 discount on any of the top 10 games, with voucher code 98L, valid until April 16, 1999, also applicable for console or power-up purchases. The Total Test section reviews several N64 games. Turok 2 earns a 94% for its graphics and gore. Rally Edition 99 gets 90% for realistic rally racing. Other top-rated games include Zelda, 97%, World Cup 98-91%, and WCW/N9-0/WO Revenge, 90%. Scores range down to 63% for War Gods. The text also highlights the blockbuster rental chart, with Rogue Squadron topping the list. Additionally, it recommends cool rentals, like All-Star Tennis, and urges readers to share their game preferences. This page is a bit of a strange one, looks like an advert for some spot cream called Oxy. It's got a woman looking a bit cheesed off holding a vacuum cleaner with a, top shelf magazine attached to the end. Right classy. The magazine is called Escort, and has headlines like, "Our wives want fun. Contact loads of girls inside," and "Pinups galore." Subtle, eh? The text on the page is all about spots, saying, whatever else puts you on the spot, it needn't be spots. It's trying to be clever, suggesting that spots are embarrassing, but so is getting caught with that type of reading material. Below it goes on about how Oxy products help stop spots, and asks, spots? Oxycutum. Bit cringe, but I suppose back then lads mags were still a thing, though maybe not something you'd want your mum catching you with, hence the vacuum cleaner disguise I guess. At the bottom right there's a pile of Oxy products, bottles and pads and whatnot. So yeah, skincare advert in a gaming mag, slightly bizarre, but maybe they figured gamers get spots too. Who knows, marketing, eh? This retro gaming tips page, likely from a magazine, offers hints and cheats for various Nintendo 64 games. It's divided into hints, tips and cheats, and your tips, soliciting reader contributions. The hints, tips and cheats section lists games like The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Wipeout 64, WCW/NWO Revenge, and Turok 2. The Zelda tips detail how to expand inventory and use Deku sticks. Wipeout 64 reveals the secret Piranha 2 ship, while WCW/NWO Revenge provides wrestling strategies, including exploiting the environment for quick wins. Turok 2 promises a full cheat code list. This page provides a nostalgic snapshot of popular N64 titles. This page features cheat codes for N64 games. It starts with a basic controller icon guide. Next, for Star Wars Rogue Squadron, players can unlock proper radar and all power-ups by deciphering mirror-written codes. South Park's cheats involve more coded entries, including unlocking Big Gay Al, Big Heads, and all weapons using backwards text. Finally, F1 WGP offers tips for Gallery Mode, Bonus Track, and Gold Racer, requiring specific driver name changes, and F0 X mode, which involves specific race settings to achieve a high speed. This page from a retro gaming guide provides cheat codes and tips for various Nintendo 64 games. It includes basic advice for 1080 snowboarding, unlocking content in FIFA 99 and XG2 Wipeout, and using star-shaped ammo in Buck Bumble. Warzone's Big Head mode is unlocked through a challenge, while V-Rally 99 offers a welcome code for bonus content. Top Gear Overdrive promises hidden cars and tracks. Diddy Kong Racing has a cheat, and F0 X features codes for longer tracks and unlocking everything. The guide also includes a bizarre bogus bonus section and concludes with phone-in dates for assistance and a picture of a person on the phone. This advertisement from the 90s promotes PrizeBuster, a competition offering various prizes. The grand prizes included a Sony PlayStation, a Nintendo 64, and a Pentium 2 computer, along with popular games like Tomb Raider 3 and Turok 2. Smaller prizes ranged from an Adidas watch and a Game Boy Color to a CD system in a Coke can and a mini disc player. Entry methods varied, with some instant win opportunities via phone calls. Other games, like Go 4 Goals and Alien Wipeout, required further participation. Entrants were prompted to call specific numbers to enter, with calls costing up to £3. Despite the high call costs, the chance to win coveted 90s technology made the competition appealing. This page features reader tips for N64 games. WWF Warzone's Create a Wrestler mode allows players to design characters like Cartman and Chef. The Legend of Zelda. Ocarina of Time tips focus on learning ocarina tunes. Star Wars. Shadows of the Empire gets a general gameplay tip. A tip for a bottle-swinging minigame earns Alex W. from Ellie Wario's winner. The next Zelda tip suggests dodging Volvagia by staying on the platform edge. XG2. Venom Superbike's cheat codes unlock a character and new levels. Rogue Squadron's tip involves a hidden bearded X-Wing pilot unlocked with a specific code. This magazine offers game help for various titles. Hot Game Help addresses issues in Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, Imperial Construction Yard, WWF Warzone, unlocking costumes, and Zelda Link's Awakening, finding the shield and sword. Zelda Ocarina of Time receives 2 queries, one on becoming young Link, and another on finding the bunny mask. Turok 2. Seeds of Evil players are pointed to a cheat code for Eagle Feather locations. New ways to play features GoldenEye 007 tips, including GoldenEye Joust, corridor-based, slappers only, and GoldenEye Footy, shooting ammo boxes into goals. The magazine encourages reader submissions for tips, questions, and new game modes, offering a chance to win prizes. This page is all about your scores, classic stuff from back in the day, seeing your name in print if you were good at a game. They've got 4 challenges set out here. First up is 1080 snowboarding, asking for the highest trick score, specifically 1080s in a row. Ambitious. Then first up is 0x wants the fastest time on Big Blue in the Jack Cup. Rogue Squadron's challenge is the best time on Mos Eisley, with a silver or gold medal. And lastly, Zelda. Ocarina of Time wants you to race the jogger in Gerudo Valley, showing your time on the Lost Woods Bridge. Below that, they've got the results in full. For Mario Kart, Royal Raceway fastest times are listed. David Laley is top with 206.26, and it runs down to 10th place. Then there's 0x, Silent's fastest times. Richard Dunn is leading there at 107.818. And finally, GoldenEye, Cradle level, most kills in 20 minutes. Matthew Dalrymple is smashing it with 326 kills. They've even put little pictures of some of the top scorers, which is a nice touch. It's like a proper old school leaderboard, to settle the bragging rights. GoldenEye gets another mention here too, as it was featured for tips on the last page as well, showing how popular that game was. The Mega Challenge is back, focusing on GoldenEye. 2 contests are featured. One is a multiplayer challenge to kill 50 enemies in jungle. The other is a competitive Hard Enough challenge, requiring a top 4 finish in the GoldenEye Champions League to qualify for a deathmatch final at a Nom Towers event on June 5th. The final winner gets N64 gear. To enter, take a picture of your stat screen or TV screen, send it with your details, and a photo of yourself to Your Scores Nom in London by May 21st. Check the magazine for the Hall of Fame, and win prizes like controller pads. The current contenders table shows leaderboard times. Deathmatch skills are necessary for the final. Final characters and location will be randomly selected. If you can't attend the final, you're disqualified. The magazine's decision is final. The page also promotes Diddy Days on Fox Kids. No cheating. This walkthrough focuses on level 6 of Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, specifically the Primogen's Lightship. The objectives are the familiar Turok formula: destroy assembly plants, complete the nuke, and defeat the Primogen. The walkthrough highlights the game's unique weapons, including the flamethrower, cerebral bore, and firestorm cannon, with a nod to their over-the-top nature. The walkthrough details the steps needed to destroy the first assembly plant, featuring door navigation, switch activation, and enemy encounters. The guide mentions the presence of capacitors, hinting at a blend of sci-fi elements within the dinosaur-filled world. The player is tasked with blowing up machinery and hitting a button to destroy the plant, with a warning about the challenging Primogen boss at the end. This page details more tips for Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, continuing on from the previous page's walkthrough of level 6, the Primogen's Lightship. It's split into two sections: other plants and the really big fight, which is quite descriptive, even for the time. Other plants is all about finishing off those pesky biobot assembly plants. Turns out, there are still 2 more to go, and this guide walks you through destroying them. It involves using talisman portals, grabbing laser cells, swapping them about. Classic Turok puzzle solving, really. Looks like you're warping around, grabbing bits and bobs and blowing stuff up. Par for the course in Turok 2, Pemugul. Then there's the really big fight, and blimey, they weren't kidding with that title. This bit's about the flesh portal and battling a flesh lord. The guide suggests stocking up on ammo and health, which is always a good shout in Turok. It seems you need to navigate through doors by using valves, and then face off against this flesh lord in the center chamber. Apparently, Azadon pops up with some words of encouragement afterwards. Oh, and there's a nuke piece to collect too. Can't forget that. Always need a bigger gun in Turok. It even mentions an underwater passage to find another switch. Typical secret hunting in these games. All in all, standard Turok mayhem really. Blasting monsters and saving the day. This page continues the Turok 2 guide, this time under the headings Cleaning Up and Mother. Cleaning Up is all about tidying up loose ends before you go for the final boss, the Primogen. They're pointing out there's one last generator to destroy. Looks like you have to navigate through a room with tricky platforms, find an Eye of Truth tile. Very dramatic, these names. And then hit a switch to drop the force fields. After that, it's just one last enemy to deal with to get the Primogen key, ready for the final showdown. Rorint. The other section, Mother, is about fighting the Mother boss, and they're not kidding, calling her the hardest boss you'll face. They recommend turning auto-aim off, which is decent advice for Turok 2, as it can be a bit wonky. Apparently, you need to shoot her chest at first, and when she's firing fireballs you need to use the shredder or plasma rifle and keep moving to avoid earthquakes. Sounds like a right pain. When she jumps up to the ceiling, rocks fall, classic boss move. Power-ups are helpfully located outside the room, and when she sprouts legs, you really need to run about and strafe while shooting her head. They even say she'll run away if you hurt her enough, which is a bit of an odd boss mechanic, but there you go. Standard Turok boss battle really. Lots of shooting and moving and not getting squashed. This guide details how to acquire the 6 Primogen keys in Turok 2 and defeat the final boss. The keys are scattered throughout the levels: Port of Adia, balcony; River of Souls, balcony near exit portal; Death Marshes, underwater near a building; the Blind Ones, clifftop; Hive of Mantids, toxic lake; and the Primogen's Lightship, start room after deactivating generators. The final battle involves inserting the keys, dodging bombs, and shooting flying enemies. Attack the Primogen's back tentacles, then its claw, avoiding regeneration. The guide recommends using a nuke on the head as the final blow. The game ends with the Primogen's defeat and a secret hinted sequel with the returning Turok. This guide focuses on Turok 2's multiplayer, aiming to help players dominate. It suggests understanding character strengths, like the balanced Turok, fast Gant, agile Adon, tough Flesh Eater, and powerful Perlin. The guide recommends adjusting brightness and control settings for optimal gameplay. Key tips include using frag tag to distract opponents, memorizing level layouts for weapon locations, and employing screen watching due to the lack of a radar. Mastering weapon ricochets and water interactions are also highlighted. Overall, the guide provides introductory advice for newcomers to Turok 2's multiplayer scene. This Turok 2 multiplayer guide offers weapon and level strategies. The guide covers several weapons: the crossbow, headshots are key; charged dart rifle, setup attacks; firestorm cannon, rapid fire; assault rifle, weaker but still good for headshots, and Plasma Rifle, awesome with the sniper sight. Level tips include Close Quartered, Small, Sneaky, Vulcan's Forge, Moving Platforms, Cerebral Bore, Mirror Rim and Snap, Pits, Cerebral Bore, Moonlit Mayhem, Pits, Platforms, 50 health, Fish in a Barrel, Torpedo Launcher, Cerebral Bore, and Teleportastic, Teleporters, Cerebral Bore. The Cerebral Bore is heavily featured in multiple levels. The guide ends with a promise of more tips in the next issue. This tips and tricks page for The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time offers solutions to common game challenges. It covers the Scarecrow's song, a musical trick to access new areas, the steps to obtain Epona, including learning her song from Malon and winning a race, and a lengthy trading sequence to acquire the Bigoron sword. The guide also explains how to melt the red ice in Zora's domain using bottled blue flames from the ice cavern. The layout is typical of gaming magazines, with numbered boxes and callouts to provide practical help for overcoming the game's sometimes frustrating puzzles. This page offers more tips for Zelda, Ocarina of Time. It starts with item locations, like rescuing all 4 carpenters at Gerudo Fortress, and finding fire arrows, after Water Temple, and ice arrows, Gerudo Training Ground. Next, it addresses common player frustrations, specifically the light puzzles. The Spirit Temple's Twin Rover puzzle solution involves movable statues and the Mirror Shield. Finally, Boss Tactics PT2 provides strategies. Dark Link can be defeated with the Giant Sword or Din's Fire while avoiding his attacks. Bongo Bongo requires arrows and charged magic attacks. Twin Rover's fight focuses on reflecting and absorbing attacks, and Ganondorf's on using hover boots, reflecting magic and light arrows. The page ends encouraging players to defeat Ganondorf, with a teaser for a hidden secret. This guide focuses on Star Wars Rogue Squadron for the N64, promising a comprehensive look at the game. It covers essential topics like mission strategies, enemy weaknesses, level walkthroughs, achieving gold medals, cheat codes, and rebel craft details. The guide emphasizes basic flight tactics, such as using air brakes and camera angles for improved maneuvering. It details both Rebel and Imperial vehicles. The Rebel side includes the X-Wing, Y-Wing, and Airspeeder, each with distinct strengths and weaknesses. The Imperial forces feature the TIE Interceptor, AT-Saint, and Probe Droid, highlighting their roles and vulnerabilities. A key tip is provided for earning gold medals. Pay attention to in-game prompts and maintain high accuracy. The guide aims to provide players with the necessary knowledge to master the game. Bull loose. This guide provides tips for achieving gold medals in the first 2 missions of Star Wars Rogue Squadron. In Ambush at Mos Eisley, players must destroy probe droids, protect the city, and eliminate Imperials within 3 minutes. Key strategies involve prioritizing enemy kills before reaching Mos Eisley, using blasters for some droids, and quickly taking down TIE bombers and the final Etoriast and big gun turrets. Elu Rendezvous on Barkesh requires escorting a convoy in under 5:45, destroying 30 enemies, saving 19 friendlies, and maintaining 40% accuracy. Players need to eliminate probe droids, ATSTs, turbolasers, and TIE bombers, with a final push for stormtroopers on a hill. Proton torpedoes are crucial for taking down walkers in both missions. A cybercode section offers a bonus level code using a mirror image puzzle. This Rogue Squadron guide section covers 2 missions. The first, the search for the Nonna, tasks players with protecting a crashed rebel ship on Korax from Imperial forces, including TIE interceptors, probe droids, and walkers. The gold medal requires completing the mission in under 10 minutes with specific enemy destruction, accuracy, and friendly survival requirements. The second mission, Defection at Corellia, involves investigating strange readings, protecting the Capital Tower and Tech Center, and escorting evacuation shuttles. Players will encounter probe droids, TIE bombers, and ATS. This mission's gold medal has similar time and accuracy constraints, but with a much higher friendly save requirement. The guide suggests using tow cables against the ATS. R2-D2's mission tips emphasize time, accuracy, and friendly survival above all else. This Rogue Squadron guide covers 2 missions. Liberation of Gerard V involves escorting Y-Wings, destroying a big gun turret, and disabling civilian yachts, all within 5:15 for a gold medal, requiring 33 kills and 30% accuracy. The guide emphasizes navigating turbo lasers and ATPTS while protecting Y-Wings. The Jade Moon tasks you with destroying a shield generator, requiring 6 minutes, 45 kills, and 40% accuracy. The mission involves engaging ATPTS, targeting a building near the generator, and using proton torpedoes. Missile turrets are a threat. R2-D2 stresses the danger of turbo lasers and encourages destroying extra targets for gold medal requirements. The guide concludes with a cryptic cheat code. It's bro now you soon sly or went to bow to unlock the Millennium Falcon. This Rogue Squadron guide covers 2 missions, Imperial Construction Yards and Assault on Kill 2. Imperial Construction Yards tasks players with destroying at Saint and at Sedef factories while remaining undetected. Gold medal requirements include a time limit of 6:30, 80 enemy kills, 45% accuracy, no friendly fire, and 1 bonus. The guide suggests a canyon approach, prioritizing factories and turrets over the AT-AT, and seeking out advanced bombs. Assault on Kill 2 involves destroying a sensor array, a spaceport, and garrisons. The gold medal demands a 6-minute completion time, 65 enemy kills, 60% accuracy, and no friendly fire. Tips include a straightforward flight path, targeting ground enemies first, bombing the spaceport, and using a canyon to find the sensor array. R2-D2 provides additional strategic bombing advice, emphasizing accuracy for achieving gold medals. This guide focuses on achieving gold medals in Star Wars Rogue Squadron's Kessel missions. Rescue on Kessel requires saving Wedge within 4:30, eliminating 26 enemies with 40% accuracy, and rescuing 5 friendlies. The strategy involves targeting transports, turrets, and turbolasers. Prisons of Kessel demands completing the mission in under 10:30, taking out 103 enemies with 40% accuracy, saving 35 friendlies, and securing 1 bonus. Key tactics include destroying probe droids and attach STS early, targeting turbolasers and stormtroopers, and collecting a hidden seeker missile bonus. The guide mentions using the radar and being wary of TIE fighters protecting the shuttle. Additionally, destroying every enemy is crucial. The guide also reveals a cheat code and teases future content. Ha ha ha! This sales page, reminiscent of an N64-era ad, offers tempting console bundles. Packages including the N64, with games like South Park or Zelda, plus a Yoshi beanie, character subject to change, were available. Deals included +£1 off, offers for additional game or accessory purchases. Featured games included Duke Nukem, 0 Hour, with an action figure discount, and FIFA 99 with sticker or memory card bundle options. Turok 2, bundled with a player's guide, was another offer. A vast N64 games section listed new and used games with prices. Action figures, including Zelda, Link, and Ganon, were also for sale. Colored N64 controllers, along with specialized models, were available. The page concluded with WeSwap deals on second-hand games and a discount for purchasing multiple used games. This sales page is a nostalgic trip back to the late 90s and early 2000s, showcasing games and accessories for classic consoles like PlayStation, Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, Super NES, and Game Boy. PlayStation titles like Metal Gear Solid and FIFA 99 are advertised alongside Dreamcast games and the console itself, with a push for pre-orders. The N64 section highlights steering wheels, rumble packs, and the curious Shockwave backpack. Licensed Nintendo products like beanies and Sakar gear are also featured. Super NES classics like Super Street Fighter II and Super Mario Kart, and Game Boy accessories and games, including the infamous Game Boy camera, round out the offerings. The page then dives back into N64 accessories like sticker kits and cheat cards before ending with the old-school mail-order setup. Club Mario's Letters page, hosted by Sean and Tim, features reader submissions covering various topics. The Letters section focuses on 64 games, with players debating titles like South Park, Turok 2, and GoldenEye. Readers share opinions, including a comparison of the expansion pack to a graphics card and anticipating Donkey Kong 64. The page also includes a Who's the Hero quiz, testing readers' Nintendo knowledge. A U-Review section presents Wayne Daly's positive review of International Superstar Soccer 98, awarding it a 94%. Finally, Dressed for Success showcases a reader dressed as Chef from South Park who wins an 64 game. The page effectively fosters reader engagement through diverse content. This page is a right treat for Zelda fans. It's Your Art Zelda special in Club Mario. Loads of readers have sent in their Zelda-inspired artwork, bless them. There's Jason Thompson's Link in full slash mode, and another one from Harrogate's Chris Jevons, where Ganondorf looks a bit tubby, haha. Peter Pisa's drawing is there too, bit random with Tweety Bird in the background, not sure about that one. Stephen Astall and William Howe also got their artwork in. And Susanna Merchant's picture of Link and Zelda is quite sweet really. Barry Jackson did a cool picture according to the caption, can't argue with that, it's alright. There's also a brain strain quiz, quick fire questions, answers on page 78, typical magazine stuff. Then who's the hero? Quiz? Clue 2 is about a racer in Mario Kart 64, easy peasy. Ultimate Warrior is a bit of fun too, describing a mighty warrior. Head of James Bond, body of Ganondorf, legs of Whizpig from Diddy Kong Racing. Bit of a monster mashup that. Looks like they're giving away Star Wars Rogue Squadron and South Park on the N64 as Mario's winner prizes, to a couple of lucky readers as well. Those were decent games back in the day. This article reviews Played to Death, which focuses on Turok 2. Several players shared their experiences, clocking significant hours and generally enjoying the game. Raphael and Digby consider it a classic, while Rafe and Jamie found it challenging. Omar praised the graphics and sound, Kyle loved it, and Onda felt great upon finishing. Brian enjoyed it despite multiplayer issues, and Jeffrey still appreciates it. The article also includes a Who's the Hero quiz with a clue hinting at Diddy Kong. A snappy moment shows a Game Boy camera picture. Readers discuss their opinions on South Park, with one feeling it deserved a higher score. A sister is beating her brother at games despite his beliefs, and the need for launch titles on the Game Boy Color is acknowledged. Finally, Zelda's release and Conker's Pocket Tales were mentioned. Club Mario's Played to Death segment reviews South Park for the N64, based on feedback from 10 testers who played the game for about a month. Most testers, like Darren Murphy and Stephen Moran, have played between 10 to 23 hours and are near completion, enjoying the humor, weapons, and challenge. Testers like Ihan Bihik and Marco Fortis highlighted the difficulty and comedic elements, while Aaron James and Stefan Edwards enjoyed the multiplayer experience. Some, such as Alexander Mehra, noted technical issues like fogging. Despite some minor criticisms, the overall consensus is positive, with testers finding the game challenging, fun, and faithful to the source material, suggesting a good experience for South Park fans. This page showcases reader interaction and game discussions. A surprise reveals Lilac Wars, Star Fox 64, as the top game, according to Matthew Potter. A Name That Game quiz and Who's the Hero section highlight reader favorites like Zelda, Turok 2, and GoldenEye. Readers debate game questions, including the merits of N64 games. The page includes a power pack suggestion and a staff listing. Reader letters discuss Zelda, advertising, reviews, and deals. The page is typical of the time, combining game insights with administrative details and reader engagement. The Blagfest page is running several competitions with prizes. Giant Books offers 10 copies of How to Draw a Bug's Life, requiring the anthero's name. Raw Power gives away 5 Godzilla packs with a film, toy, and storybook, testing knowledge of New York's nickname in the film. Fighting Figures awards Turok 2 action figures, asking about the game's antagonist. Footy Fun provides 3 copies of FIFA 99, quizzing on the Premier League champions. To enter, participants must send a postcard with their answers, name, age, and address, clearly marking the chosen competition. This article previews the upcoming N64 game Shadowman, a 3D adventure published by Acclaim, set for release in late 1999. The game promises a spooky experience, described as scarier than Turok 2, with a focus on voodoo themes and nightmare worlds. Players control Mike Leroy, a hero able to traverse between the real world and dead side. The article highlights voodoo weapons, dark environments, and a sinister new hero, although the screenshots reveal typical N64 graphics. The article also includes a brief overview of other N64 games, like All-Star Baseball 2000, Harvest Moon and Quake 2, and Game Boy titles like Duke Nukem 3D and Pokémon. This page showcases Shadowman again, doesn't it? Right in your face with a massive picture of Mike Leroy, this hitman thin guy, and voodoo scary bloke apparently. They're really pushing this voodoo angle, aren't they? It mentions exploring blood-soaked torture chambers in Deadside, and using spooky voodoo lightning. Sounds a bit grim, even for back then. There are some screenshots to give you a better idea. Typical N64 visuals really. And then they have this "We Think's" box, saying it's going to be scarier than Turok 2 and Resident Evil combined. Bit of a bold claim, that is. Resident Evil and Turok 2 were both pretty intense games for their time, so that's quite a statement to make. They're really trying to get people hyped for this Shadow Man game. Seems like they're banking on the scare factor, hoping it'll be the next big thing in spooky 164 gaming. Nintendo 81 magazine, right there at the bottom, in case you forgot where you were. Revolt, Acclaim's entry into the remote control car racing genre, is coming to N64 in autumn 1999. The game features over 20 cars and 7 diverse levels, including a museum, cruise ship, and toy store. A track editor allows players to create their own courses. Gameplay includes various car types, such as powerful racers and cars with enhanced suspension, as well as obstacles and weapons like the Disruptor and Oil Slick. The toy store level is highlighted for its chaotic environment. While the game draws inspiration from other N64 racers, the track editor is expected to be a major draw. The review suggests Revolt could be an entertaining and essential purchase, particularly for multiplayer fun. This news roundup covers various gaming tidbits. Rugrats. Scavenger Hunt for N64 aims to replicate Mario Party's success, though it appears basic. Resaurus is releasing Quake 2 and Gex action figures. Game Boy Color gets Spy vs. Spy, a split-screen adventure. The N64 sees voice-controlled games, like TO and VRS Racer, along with NetShark for basic internet access. Nintendo Smash Bros. Is outselling Sega Rally 2 on the Dreamcast in Japan. Finally, a puzzle game called Logical, with 99 levels, is previewed, promising a mix of frustration and addiction. This page previews 2 N64 games, LEGO Racers and Armorines. Project Swarm. LEGO Racers allows players to build LEGO cars and race on themed tracks, like Dark Forest Dash and Magma Moon Marathon. Players can race against LEGO characters like Robin Hood. The game features blocky graphics typical of the N64 era and aims for a younger audience. Armorines. Project Swarm is a stark contrast. It's a shoot-'em-up, built on the Turok 2 engine, promising a scary experience. Players can choose between male or female characters and play co-op. The game features levels filled with enemies and a darker tone, potentially resembling Doom. Set for a Christmas 1999 release, the review questions if the game truly delivers on its scary promise. This magazine highlights the upcoming N64 port of Quake 2, emphasizing faster gameplay, improved colors/lighting, and a faster deathmatch mode over high-resolution graphics. The game will be compatible with the expansion pack for these improvements, and will feature a tank enemy with a laser gun. Release is slated for spring '99. The issue also announces a competition offering a variety of prizes and games. Participants can win games like Zelda, Metal Gear Solid, and Crash Bandicoot, as well as gadgets such as a Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and mobile phone. Entries are made through premium rate phone calls, with the competition closing at the end of June '99. Pokémon Pinball for Game Boy Color is heavily promoted for its use of the Rumble Pack, promising immersive pinball action. The game features multiple pinball tables themed around Pokémon, described as cutesy brutes, with a possible September 1999 release. The player starts with Professor Oak and encounters familiar Pokémon mechanics like item distribution. The preview highlights various Pokémon, including Geodude, Psyduck, found via fishing, and Raichu. Screenshots showcase tables featuring Bulbasaur and Bellsprout, indicating standard pinball gameplay with a Pokémon aesthetic. While hyped as awesome due to the Rumble feature, the reviewer expresses skepticism about the game's overall impact. This page is a proper blast from the past, an advert for gameplay pushing their N64 gear and games. Powerful consoles at Britain's lowest prices, it screams at you, which back then probably felt true enough. They're banging on about an unbeatable service guarantee, proper confidence there. You could grab an N64 console, bundled with Mario 64, Zelda 64, Turok 2 or GoldenEye, all the big hitters, for decent prices. Then there's a massive list of UK Nintendo 64 games. Blimey, they've got everything. Looking down the list, you've got your racers like Wipeout 64 and Zero X, platformers like Banjo-Kazooie, shooters like GoldenEye obviously, and sports games for days FIFA 99, NBA Jam 99, the lot. Mad to think how much choice we had back then for the N64. They even have some Game Boy and Game Boy Color stuff on offer, Pocket and Color consoles, and games like Zelda and Turok 2 on the handheld too. Choicebook. They're even flogging second games, pre-owned stuff, which was a good way to save a few quid back then. And of course, all the bits and bobs you needed. Memory cards, rumble packs, essential for feeling anything in Pokemon Pinball, after all that hype on the last page, and steering wheels for your racing games. There's even an order form to cut out, for sending off your postal order, ancient history now, in it. Pikachu Genki Dechu for the N64 was a virtual pet game, where players could interact with Pikachu using a microphone plugged into the console's controller port. The game aimed to befriend Pikachu and help him explore his virtual world, with a love meter that filled as you chatted. Reaching the end of the meter triggers a short movie. While the gameplay was basic, the voice recognition was novel for the time. The game included various scenarios, such as Pikachu in a forest and being zapped by lightning. A fun feature had Pikachu reacting negatively to the word PlayStation. Ultimately, it seems aimed at younger players and dedicated Pikachu fans. Pokemon Snap for the N64 is a virtual photography game where players explore Pokemon Island and photograph wild Pokemon. Developed by Nintendo, the game offers various areas that unlock as players photograph rare creatures. The game features iconic Pokemon like Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno, and Pikachu. Players are encouraged to use the center of the screen to take careful shots, and use a zoom lens to capture the Fiesty Electrode. The gameplay is meant to offer a lot of variety to make it interesting for multiple playthroughs, as the island changes each time. The text describes voice recognition from the previous Pikachu game as working well, and that the game could be a hit with children. All-Star Baseball 2000 for N64 promises sharp graphics, real stadiums, and improved player AI, exceeding the previous year's game. Konami is developing a new, potentially outlandish Castlevania for N64, featuring a Wolfman and chainsaw-wielding character. Disney's A Bug's Life is coming to the N64 as a 3D adventure. Duke Nukem is headed to the Game Boy Color. Retro Studios is already working on Nintendo's next console. Finally, Fighting Force, originally cancelled, is now coming to the N64. Klax, a color-matching puzzle game similar to Columns, is set for Game Boy Color. This page is a proper throwback. It's a full-page advert for New Age consoles, a shop clearly catering to us N64 and PlayStation lot. They're advertising everything you need for gaming, promising games, gear, and even cheats. There's a smaller advert from Game Freaks next door, suggesting game exchanges, handy for trading in those old carts. And then there's that Insomnia banner that's for Perfect Dark, Rare's follow-up to GoldenEye. It was massively anticipated back then. The advert goes on to list a load of games. For N64 UK games, you're looking at classics like Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario Party for party nights, and the insane speed of 0x. They even cater to import fans with us and Japanese titles. On the PlayStation side, titles like Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, and Soul Reaver are featured. It gives you a real sense of what gaming was like back then, relying on mail order and phone lines to get your games. They list phone numbers, addresses in Croydon, and even take Switch and Visa payments. Very modern for the time. They even have a classified section if you wanted to advertise your own bits and bobs. It's a snapshot of a proper 90s gaming shop advert. Mystical Ninja 2 starring Goemon, a 3D adventure game released in April 1999 for the N64, promises even more outlandish gameplay than its predecessor. Players are tasked with saving Japan from the evil Bismaru, utilizing a ghost return machine. The game features a map of Edo and introduces characters like Sasuke, a mechanical ninja, and a forgetful Ronin. A key selling point was its two-player cooperative mode, allowing players to team up to defeat enemies and solve puzzles. Screenshots showcase teamwork between Goemon and Sasuke, highlighting their complementary abilities. The magazine anticipates an awesome, action-packed adventure that improves upon the first game, suggesting it's a fun experience, especially when played with a friend. N64 owners have several upcoming titles. Konami is releasing NBA in the Zone 99, a basketball sim with a make-your-own player feature, and NHL Blades of Steel 99, an ice hockey game. Rockstar Games is developing Thrasher, Skate and Destroy, a skateboarding game aiming for realism. Rayman is getting a TV series, with his N64 debut, Great Escape, coming later. Milo's Astro Lanes, a bowling sim, is also expected. Shoreside. For Game Boy Color, classic arcade titles Defender and Joust are being released, offering retro gameplay experiences. Additionally, an Ocarina of Time ocarina based on the Zelda instrument is available, allowing players to learn Zelda tunes. The Fast News section previews upcoming N64 and Game Boy Color games. Tasmanian Express, a 3D Taz adventure, is slated for mid-1999. Snowboard Kids 2 promises more snowy action with new modes and characters. Pokémon Stadium's sequel is in the works, with Game Boy connectivity. Batman, the animated series, is coming to both N64 and Game Boy Color in 2000 as a brawler. Ready to Rumble Boxing, an arcade-style boxing game, is also planned for N64. Finally, a Mario Party website is live. Harvest Moon, a farming RPG, is also briefly mentioned. This advertisement from Special Reserve showcases a late 90s gaming experience, highlighting Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color offerings. The spread features Nintendo 64 combo deals bundling consoles with popular titles like GoldenEye and Mario 64. Essential accessories like memory cards and rumble packs are also promoted. A vast game list for the N64 includes classics such as Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, and wrestling games. Game Boy Color consoles and games are also advertised. The advert emphasizes customization with controllers and enticing finance offers. Special Reserve's physical store locations are listed alongside club benefits, like free gifts, designed to attract customers. The ad is a nostalgic reminder of the era's gaming landscape. The upcoming Nintendo magazine issue boasts being the biggest and best, promising exclusive scoops and comprehensive game coverage. It highlights 6 key promises, including first looks at N64 games, top-quality screenshots, and easy-to-understand content. A major feature preview is dedicated to WWF Attitude, detailing characters, moves, and weapons. Reviews are featured for Vigilante 8, described as Go Kill Crazy, and NBA in the Zone 99, promising bouncy b-ball action. The issue also includes a total test section, claiming to cover all N64 games, along with updated previews of World Driver Championship. Overall, it offers a typical mix of previews, reviews, and guides expected of the magazine at the time. This page is definitely pushing Mystical Ninja 2 starring Goemon, another one of Konami's quirky titles, wasn't it? They're shouting about showing you the whole Goemon crew, what you actually do in the game, 2-player action and all the levels. Pretty standard magazine preview stuff really. Jesus. Down in the corner they've got a tips section, seems like they're giving pointers for Turok 2 multiplayer. Ripped Open sounds a bit dramatic, finishing Rogue Squadron, and even a bit for South Park, calling it bony ass nice. And over on the right they're still going on about the Game Boy Color, saying every game reviewed and best shots and info must have been desperate for content back then. Right at the bottom is some special offers Club Mario thing, probably just mail order tat like t-shirts and mugs. Nothing too exciting on this page really, all pretty standard issue stuff for the time. This roundup of Nintendo related news from the past features a variety of merchandise and games. Turok 2 action figures were available, with a Turok figure costing £17.99. There was also Donkey Kong and Fox Kids mentions, alongside NFL Blitz for Game Boy Color, and a plug for the Nintendo official magazine. Mario Party's release was highly anticipated, along with Zelda toys for £10, and a Yoshi beanie. South Park was celebrated as the top cartoon and 64 game, with keyrings available. A Godzilla video rental was also highlighted. The What You Want section asks kids about their most anticipated games. WWF Attitude, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, FIFA 99, Resident Evil, Command & Conquer, and Smash Brothers were mentioned. The next page is a full-page advert for The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening DX on the Game Boy Color. It's got that classic Zelda vibe, a sword plunged into a purple Game Boy Color, surrounded by skulls and torches. Very atmospheric dungeony stuff. The tagline is, Link's fate lies in your hands, which is pretty standard fare. It's pushing the fact that this version is in color. Zelda DX now has added color, which was a big deal back then. Feel everything everywhere is a bit much marketing speak, but you get the idea. It's clearly aimed at those of us wanting a Zelda adventure on the go, and the Game Boy Color was the machine to do it. This page then, blimey, it's a bit of an odd one. It's an advert for Dr. Pepper, and it's playing on this pull one get one free promotion. They've got this bloke sandwiched between two birds, looking a bit pleased with himself if you ask me. Supposed to be the two-timer I reckon, playing on the ring pull thing for the Dr. Pepper cans. It's all a bit of a cringe promo if you think about it, trying to be all cheeky and down with the kids, telling you to use your pulling power to win a free drink. Millions of prizes apparently, so they reckon it's a doddle to win one. Right then, Dr. Pepper, pull one and maybe get one free. Yeah, cheers for that.